All right, hey everybody, Steven Butler back with another video for you, and this time I'm going to be doing a drawing video, and this time I'm going to be drawing Spider-Man for you, and I'm doing this for a reason. This is like a piece I'm doing for charity. So I thought that I would walk you guys through my process of drawing Spider-Man from the blank page to the finished product, and I'll have the penciling and the inking and the coloring even in different stages. But I'll talk you through my process as I'm doing it. As you see now, I'm just laying out what basically we call the gesture drawing, and I kind of have an idea of what I want to do in this piece. I want to have his face is going towards you. He's coming at you. Basically, I do a lot of those kind of shots. But this time, I usually have his hand like out, like shooting a web. I want to do something a little bit different this time. I want to have his arms going behind him like he's already sprang from the web, and I want his hands to be kind of like in a claw, not a claw, but they've already released the web, but they're still taut, because that's pretty much Spider-Man in action. You want to capture that tautness. So I make sure I give the right number of hands. One on this current project that Lily and I are working on, I messed up on one panel and had a guy pointing at another guy, and I wound up giving him 4 fingers plus the pointer finger. So he had 5 fingers and a thumb. So he was the 6-fingered man. I said, I hope Inigo Montoya doesn't come after him. You killed my father. But anyway, I'm going to put his legs up here because I like to draw a Spider-Man where he's very springy, and I don't go as crazy as McFarlane used to, where he'd have his legs wrapped around coming out the top of his head. I don't care for that too much, but I know a lot of people do. That dude sure sold a lot of comic books doing that stuff. But I'm just different strokes for different folks, I guess. I'll have his foot coming out like this, and then over here I'll have it, but it won't be exactly mimicking the other one. It'll be coming down like this, and then I'll have this other one. Let's see. I think I want to pull his. Get my big eraser out like this. I think I want to pull his. You got to know anatomy to do this, and then you got to, as long as you know anatomy, you can stretch it and bend it, and take it to different levels that a human body is hard pressed to do, because this is comics, and it's about well, superhero comics are anyway. It's all about exaggeration. See, I don't like that. I don't know why I don't. So I'm probably going to do what I normally do here, and that is do the foreshortening thing. See how small this hand is going back from him? I'm going to do a foreshortening thing where I bring his hand up here like this, where he's firing a web. And I know I've done this 100,000 times already, and you've probably seen it done this way, but it really works for Spider-Man to have as a pinup, as a a commission type piece. All right, and so since you're going to be seeing that part of his hand, you'll see his forearm coming out like this, and you wouldn't even see his bicep because that would be behind here. All right, and so here would be his little mechanism where he shoots the web, and the web will be coming out like this. All right, and I'll make it here. And I always like to put the underarm webs that Steve Ditko created way back when for his costume. I always did it whenever I was working on the actual comic, and now I like to do it every time I'm doing these commissions. Anyway, now I can start laying in the detail work in the pencils. And I don't, whenever I'm inking myself, I don't do a whole lot of detail, because I mean that's like drawing it twice. Why do you need to do that? In my field, time is money, and if you know what you're doing, and you got the basic shape down, that's all you really need. And so you're just basically making these shapes that conform to his body and his make it work for his costume. Whenever I was growing up, Spider-Man had when I was reading the John Romita Sr. comics, and he was my favorite, still is my favorite Spider-Man artist. His costume was literally blue and red. And there was some delineation for his musculature, whatever, in both the red and the blue parts of his costume. But somewhere down the line, his costume basically turned to like a blue. It was still blue, but it was like blue-black, and so there was a lot of blacks added to his costume, and that's the way I've always drawn him, because that's pretty much what had been established as the look. I don't know. I don't really I don't follow a whole lot of the comics anymore, so I don't know what he looks like now. I know he's gone through several iterations since I was working there. I think there was a time even when Dr. Octopus became Spider-Man, and he had his own. He had a different kind of costume than Spider-Man, a little bit different. And then I'm just adding the webs on the legs. I'm adding the indication of the webs. I'll actually turn them into webs whenever I'm doing the inking part. But right now I'm just laying in the shapes, basically the shape of his musculature and his legs, and everything's really taut. No, this isn't mimicking the exact anatomy of a person, but it is creating a look and a feel of dynamic tension and action of a character that's already extreme to start with. But whenever he's in motion, he's really going to have a lot of exaggeration in his body. I'll add the spider symbol right there in the middle of his chest. And I like to do it this way, where it curves in on itself like this. Different people do it different ways, but this is the way I've always done it. Unless I'm like trying to emulate the look of the 70s whenever I was growing up, and the look of it was completely different then. All of his the spider legs were going down during that time. So anyway, I'm just going in and adding the basic shape of his costume here, because that will help inform how I do his musculature, as long as I got those lines in there first. And then I can add his rib cage and his abs that you'll see from you won't see so much in the red part, because that's full of webs. So you don't want to add too much like musculature. You can add some, like here, like his pecs. I'll add a little bit of delineation there, but by and large, I kind of leave this alone because for the webs. And the webs will come down like this, and then his belt will be, or what passes for a belt. It's not really a belt, is it? It's just, actually he does. I think he keeps his like spare web cartridges in his belt. At least he used to. I don't know. I'm not an aficionado on current lore of the comic book characters. I remember that was a detail that I always liked when I think it was John Romita Jr. that did, like, he would change into his Spider-Man. Well, his Spider-Man suit was underneath his regular clothes. But he would basically take off his regular clothes and whip them up with. He would fire a web on them and make like a bag to put his clothes in, and he would adhere it to the side of a building and then come back later on and get it. And so he could change back to Peter Parker. I guess sometimes he would be going into his apartment or whatever while he was still Spider-Man. That would have been tricky. Wouldn't have been long before somebody would have, I don't know, that might have been a storyline. Who knows? Who knows? Make the lines go down here. I'm just following, I'm following the shape like this is a curve that goes all the way around. And like I'm going around a cylinder, except it's following the curvature of his body. And then later on, I'll scallop them. When I say scallop, I'll do that in the inking stage, where I scallop them like that, to make it look more like a spider web. And I do that on everything, on his feet, hands, mask. Here, before I end the penciling stage, because it's getting kind of long here. I'll add the eyes. I don't go too crazy with his eyes like I do with Ben Reilly's or Scarlet Spider's. I make bigger than this, and they're more of a straight, like almost octagonal type shape. But Spider-Man's are curved. But I guess I make them bigger than like Romita did, but not too much bigger. I don't make them McFarlane sized. All right, so you got the strong jawline here. It's still rounded, but it's very, it's very strong to denote he's a hero. So he needs to have the jawline of a hero. All right, so you go right in the middle and make just a circle that connects his two eyes here. Then you go straight up from there with one line, and then I'll go over here with one and over here with one. And usually the next one, because all of the lines are radiating, like this is the spider's web, and this is what radiates out through his entire body. Now down here, you're not going to continue on straight. You're going to split that, and it's going to be one here and one here. Why? I don't know. Because it makes it easier to recognize him as almost like he has a mouth, because I'm going to show you. You're going to have two circles basically coming here and here. Then you're going to have another one coming here. Look, that second one is about where his mouth would be, and I think that's why they did it this way. It gives the impression that he has a mouth. At least that's what I think. Pretty sure that's what Romita had in mind when he did it, because this is Romita's design here. This is not Ditko. Ditko had a lot of webs coming from his and he'd have them come in all different kind of ways. It wasn't really uniform yet until Romita kind of what's the word, codified it, whatever. He did. And then you got these fingers, on the gloves, that have just basically the wrap around. Let's see, and he's pushing. This is his. He's got that mechanism up here in his palm that he pushes to shoot the webs out. Unless he's got like organic webs in his in the comics now, like he does on the movies. I don't know. Again, this is not something I follow anymore as far as like reading. I still read comics, but I just read the old ones that I have, because they're the ones that really still get me excited about doing this stuff. I try to keep up with what's out there, but I don't buy a whole lot of comics these days. All right, and then you'll have this coming around like this for his this part of his elbow, and I'll might as well go ahead and finish this one out. And then this will be coming like this. Uh-oh, that ain't right, because this has to connect with that, so more like that. I hope what I'm telling you is making sense, because different artists have probably different ways of doing things, and this is just my way that I've always done and probably always will. And then go this way, and then do this with the fingers, and I'll finish all of that with the in the inking stage. And here's the last with the boot, the right boot. So we'll go down like this. All right, I'm coming to the end, and this is basically all I need to ink this thing with, and I will do the inking next. Stay tuned.